So this one is a definite ballsy one. However, it's one that's infinitely rewarding. And we're combining two ideas that I've already talked about into one massive hot trick. So the way this works is that we have the deck shuffled by a participant who hopefully isn't going to mess up your very expensive and super edgy Daniel Madison cards. But we turn to one spectator and we tell them to think of any card that they could see. So they could see the entire deck there, and to think of one card in particular, of course, to the spectator. They're thinking of one card. We're going to turn to another spectator and tell them that in a moment, we're actually going to put the cards behind our back, and it's going to be very important that they know how to handle cards, because if not, you don't want the cards to fly everywhere. So if they don't feel comfortable holding the cards behind their back, we'll just pick somebody else, and that's going to be fine. So they, of course, say they're comfortable. You give them the deck, they take it behind their back, and you tell them to take the top card and stick it anywhere they want in the middle of the deck. So somewhere in the middle, you tell them to take the top card and put it somewhere in the middle of the deck. And of course you say, shit, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Did you turn the card face up? No? Okay. Well, do me a favor. You were supposed to turn it face up. I'm sorry. My bad. Take the next card. So take whatever the top card is now, turn that one face up and stick it anywhere you want in the middle of the deck. Hopefully this time it'll be fine. So spectator does that now. They take the card, they stick it anywhere they want in the middle of the deck. And of course, once they bring out the cards, we see that there's one card that's face up in the middle of the deck. And of course, right next to the card that the spectator is thinking of, you're gonna have to take my word for it. It is in fact the King of Clubs. So the spectator, this spectator who's thinking of a card, and this spectator over here managed to stick any card they wanted to face up in the middle of the deck right next to the card that they picked. Hot! That's a definite hot one. So for this, it's actually not that hard to do. We're actually going to need to employ the use of a subtlety from expert card technique that I haven't seen anybody else use. And this is so fucking good. But it still allows you for a spectator to take a card from the top of the deck, apparently turn it face up and put it anywhere they want in the cards, and you still know the exact position. So for this, we're going to employ the use of our friend, the blank fan. So we're going to turn to one spectator and we're going to say, sir, I want you to do me a favor. Don't think too hard about it. But you see the entire deck. I want you to think of a card that you could see. You got one, and of course, you're going to be holding on to the shoulder. You're going to be giving a little bit of a squeeze there to hopefully instill them that they're in on this trick. They're still going to be very, very impressed, but they're going to kind of understand that they could only see one card. So you're going to reverse fan the cards. Again, you're holding the cards in your right hand. And by just doing a normal fan with the right hand, they don't see any of the pips. They only see the bottom card. So from this position, we're going to say you could have thought of any card. We're going to do a slip shuffle. And we're going to just have that card on the bottom of the deck as we supposedly shuffle the rest of the cards. Now, here is where we do pretty much the entire mechanics of the trick. We're going to tell the spectator that in a moment, they're going to hold the cards behind their back. And the first time I put the cards behind my back, all I'm doing is turning this card face up and giving the deck a cut. What that does is that places this card somewhere face up in the middle of the deck, and it places the card that you forced, which is the King of Diamonds, right above that card. So that's the first part of the trick already done. So you say, I'm going to have you hold the cards behind your back, and it's going to be very important that you feel comfortable holding the cards behind your back. And on that second behind your back, that's when I do the second part that I need to do, which is just flip over the second card from the top of the deck. So that's it. So now we have a face-up card in the middle of the deck next to the card that the spectator supposedly thought of. Next, we have the second card from the top of the deck, which is face-up. And you're done. That's all you need to do. So one more time, the way that should look is like this. We have the spectator think of any card they want. Sir, it's very important that you think of that card and don't forget it. Because if not, this trick is essentially going to be pointless. So, sir, I'm going to use you for this. In a moment, I'm going to have you hold the cards behind your back, and it's very important that you don't feel any sort of discomfort while holding the cards behind your back, because if you hold them behind your back and you drop the cards all over the floor, it's not going to work. So could you do that for me? Okay, perfect. Do me a favor, take the cards in your left hand, put them behind your back, and there you go. That's it. So in that action, you've done all the mechanics that you need to do. Spectator's card, random card in the middle. And here, you're going to tell the spectator to take the top card and put it anywhere they want in the middle of the deck. Now, it's going to be very important that you reiterate, put it somewhere in the middle of the deck. You don't want them putting it near the top. You don't want them putting it near the bottom. So if you're very clear as to telling them to put the card somewhere in the middle of the deck, that's where they're going to put it. So now you tell them, wait a second, did you turn that card face up? You wait the appropriate amount of time, and you make sure that the spectator has already inserted the card completely in the deck before you say, wait, did you turn the card face up? No? Okay, I'm sorry. I was supposed to tell you to turn the card face up. You didn't turn it face up. That's fine. So now do me a favor, take the next card, turn that one face up, and stick that anywhere you want in the middle of the deck. So you notice what happens here is that the spectators, the next card is already face up. So when they supposedly turn it face up, they're turning it face down and sticking it somewhere in the middle of the deck. They think there's a face up card going in the face down deck. So you see you see how genius this is. I already talked about this in a previous episode, but combining this with a thought of card is killer. So now they take this card, they turn it supposedly face up, they put it somewhere in the middle of the deck, they square it up, and now you tell them to bring the cards out and spread it in their own hands. So they see that there's a face up card somewhere in the middle. Now, another hot tip at this point is to get the deck from them and give it to somebody else. The reason for this is because they have a rough estimate as to where they stuck the card in the middle of the deck. Even though putting it behind their back, they lose a little bit of that orientation because they're not used to handing a deck of cards. When you hand it to somebody else, it makes it less likely that this spectator is going to notice that the card is inserted somewhere different than where they might have stuck the card in. So that's easily avoided by just handing the deck to somebody else and having them spread. But as long as you tell the spectator to stick the card in the middle of the deck, somewhere in the middle, you'll be fine. So you have them spread through and say the 4 of hearts. You stuck the 4 of hearts somewhere in the middle of the deck. Again, your choice, sir. There's a card that you happen to have stuck this card next to. What is the card you're thinking of? Of course, the spectator is going to say it. They're going to be impressed because there's no way that the spectator found the card, even though they are literally instant stooged. They're still going to be impressed. And you have an amazing trick in pretty much no work on your end. You're just doing a little bit of a control, a little bit of subtlety, and you have a way of having the spectator insert any card face up in the deck without looking and finding a thought of card. Oh! I hate giving it away, but you guys deserve it. So thank you guys. Thank you guys again for your continuous support. Hope you guys enjoy that trick. Don't dismiss it because you might think the spectators might be privy to the method. They won't be. It's a killer trick, and I hope you guys definitely enjoy that one. So I'll see you guys in the next one.